Sure what I'm able to bring. It's what all these very brave ladies tell.
There are moments in royal history when nothing appears to happen, yet everything quietly changes behind palace walls. Moments when no official announcement is made, no cameras are present, and no headlines break the news. And yet, decisions are taken that reshape the future of the British monarchy. This is one of those moments. Before you go, something at the end might just change the way you see this. If you're enjoying the video, please consider subscribing. It's completely free, and it genuinely helps us create more of what you love. Stay with us till the end. You won't want to miss this. Because according to palace insiders, something extraordinary unfolded behind closed doors at the heart of the royal family. A confrontation so unexpected, so quietly powerful, that it reportedly sent shockwaves through the highest levels of the monarchy. At the center of this silent royal storm were two of the most influential women in the palace. Princess Anne, the king's fiercely disciplined sister, known for her unwavering loyalty to duty, and Queen Camilla, the woman who spent decades fighting to secure her place beside King Charles. But what reportedly happened between them was not a loud argument. There were no raised voices, no dramatic scenes, no scandal spilling into the streets of London. Instead, something far more unsettling occurred. A quiet decision, a cold message, a line drawn inside the palace. Because, according to multiple royal insiders, Princess Anne made it clear that Queen Camilla would not play a role in shaping the future coronation of Prince William. And just like that, the calm surface of the royal family began to crack. For centuries, the British monarchy has survived wars, abdications, scandals, and betrayals. But its greatest strength has always been unity. The carefully crafted image that when it comes to the crown, the royal family stands together. Yet behind the polished ceremonies and carefully staged appearances, tensions had already begun to grow, and they were growing quietly. Because as preparations slowly began for the next era of the monarchy, an era centered around Prince William, subtle changes began to appear inside palace corridors. Meetings became smaller. Certain names disappeared from guest lists. Planning discussions were moved to more private circles. Documents circulated among fewer advisors. At first, these changes were barely noticeable. But then something happened that stunned even long-time royal observers. Queen Camilla, the queen consort herself, was no longer being included in early coronation discussions for the future king. At first, palace aides assumed it must be a simple oversight. After all, Camilla had spent years rebuilding her public image. Her journey from one of the most controversial figures in royal history to Queen Consort of the United Kingdom had taken decades of careful rehabilitation. Surely she would have a central role in planning the future coronation of Prince William. Except she didn't. Weeks passed. Planning continued. Discussions about ceremony, symbolism, guest lists, and royal responsibilities moved forward. But Camilla's name never appeared in the planning circle. Not once. At first, the circle of advisors around Prince William seemed unusually tight. His closest aides moved quickly and quietly. Decisions were made without publicity. Meetings were held behind closed doors. And slowly, the coronation planning structure began taking shape, without Queen Camilla. What made the situation even more remarkable was the way she reportedly discovered it. There was no official conversation, no careful explanation, no royal courtesy. Instead, confusion began spreading inside her own office. Her staff began asking questions. Why hadn't she received certain planning documents? Why had a major strategy meeting taken place without informing her team? Why were briefings happening without any notification? At first, her staff believed it must be an administrative mistake, but when follow-up calls received no answers and invitations never arrived, the truth slowly became impossible to ignore. This was not an error, it was deliberate. Inside Clarence House, where Camilla's closest advisors work, the emotional impact reportedly hit hard. because for Camilla, this was never just about ceremony. It was about legitimacy. For decades, she had stood beside King Charles through public criticism, media scrutiny, and one of the most controversial relationships in modern royal history. She believed she had finally secured her place inside the institution. Yet now, without warning, she appeared to be pushed aside from the most important royal transition of the next generation. And yet, the public saw none of it. No statements, no leaks, no dramatic reactions. Just silence. But in royal politics, silence is rarely accidental. Silence is strategy. Some insiders say Princess Anne acted out of fierce loyalty to Prince William. Anne has long been considered one of the most disciplined members of the royal family, a woman who views monarchy not as a performance, but as a lifelong duty. For decades, she has quietly defended the institution through scandal, crisis, and change. To Anne, stability is everything, and the future king must begin his reign without distractions. From this perspective, her move was not personal, it was preventative, a decision designed to protect William's future before it even begins. But others inside royal circles believe the situation is far more complicated, because this isn't simply about ceremony, it is about influence, about authority, about who truly shapes the next era of the monarchy. And when power shifts inside royal walls, the consequences ripple through every corridor. For decades, Princess Anne has carried out her duties with relentless dedication. From the birth of Prince William to the turbulent years surrounding Prince Harry's departure from royal life, Anne has remained one of the most dependable figures of the monarchy. No drama, no theatrics, no search for public approval, just duty. And that philosophy has shaped her view of the institution, which is exactly why her relationship with Camilla has always been complicated, polite, respectful, but distant. From the moment Charles and Camilla returned to public life as a couple, Anne maintained strict formality. She fulfilled every obligation required of her rank. But there were no warm public moments, no shared charity launches, no visible friendship, just professionalism. Because in Anne's world, royal authority is not earned through public sympathy or media rehabilitation. It is earned through decades of service, through discipline, through sacrifice, through loyalty to the crown above personal comfort. Camilla's transformation from controversy to queen consort may have been accepted by the public, but insiders say Anne never fully embraced that rewritten hierarchy. One palace source once recalled a quiet moment at Balmoral. After a long day of royal engagements, Anne reportedly remarked to a trusted aide, "Some people carry duty like a burden, others carry it like an accessory." She never explained what she meant, but many inside the palace believed the message was clear. Then something changed. When King Charles ascended the throne, Camilla's influence inside palace discussions reportedly began to grow. She appeared at more planning meetings. Her voice carried increasing weight in ceremonial debates. To some observers, this was simply a natural expansion of her role as queen consort, but to others it looked like something else. Expansion inside the royal hierarchy. And that is where tension began. Because when roles blur inside the monarchy, authority begins to fracture. And according to insiders, Princess Anne quietly began warning Prince William about exactly that. Private conversations reportedly took place, careful discussions, not about personalities, but about structure, about clarity, about the fragile balance that allows the monarchy to function. The message was simple. If the future king wants stability, boundaries must exist. And according to insiders, that conversation changed everything. Soon after those private discussions ended, something inside the palace machinery quietly shifted. Meetings moved, advisors changed, planning circles became smaller, and once again Camilla's name disappeared. Then came the moment that insiders say confirmed the new power dynamic. A private meeting at Clarence House. Prince William had personally requested it, not as a family member, but as the future king. For years, William had maintained a careful balance inside the royal family, respectful, measured, patient. But coronation planning changes everything, because a coronation is not just a ceremony, it defines the beginning of a reign. Every symbol, every guest, every role, every detail tells the world what kind of king will sit on the throne. Inside that private meeting, William reportedly spoke calmly. He acknowledged Camilla's position beside his father. He made it clear he was not challenging her title. But then he said something that shifted the atmosphere in the room. He asked for space to shape his reign, space to define the meaning of his coronation, space for his advisors and those he trusted most to guide the process. In simple terms, he asked her to step back. The tone was respectful, but the message was unmistakable. According to insiders, Camilla responded lightly, almost dismissively. To her, the ceremony was tradition, pageantry repeated for centuries.